let's make this go live. Let's make this work out. Am I here? Yes, I am. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. It's a Monday, and this is the greatest live stream that has ever existed. I know I said that about the last ones, but that's the thing about live, man. It only counts when it's happening in that regard. Otherwise, those are the greatest previously recorded live, because they weren't pre-recorded, previously recorded live streams ever, and henceforth, so shall it be. Now, I'm Hal Sparks, the Hal Sparksiest Hal Sparks in the history of Hal Sparkses, and you are the lovely people in the chat room. And you are myriad and wonderful, and I thank you for being here. And good Lord, is the crowd growing? We need to get our subscriptions up. We got to get people to subscribe on the YouTube channel, and I've got them spread out. I come to you. I don't. One of the reasons why my numbers are what they are is partly because I have real viewers, not bots. That's a big factor. I recognize that. I recognize I'm off by about 1 million, at least, because of all the purchased ones that are out floating around there. That said, I know you real ones are out there, so please hit the like and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff. Because, by the way, the show's not going to get better because of it, but certain people will have to deal with us. And I think that's an important part of this whole thing, wouldn't you say? All right. Lots of stuff to cover today, not the least of which, yesterday, as you know, well, you know what? Let me find somebody to sum it up for you, what happened and how terrible it was and all that stuff. And someone that we don't normally go to, chat room, hello. And by the way, in your liking and subscribing, super chats are very welcome and very helpful. There's a Venmo right there if you want to support the show, and patreon.com/Hal Sparks. So I'll show you. We don't really go to this guy very often. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Piers Morgan. Pierre Morgan. And he, most of the time I don't go to him because he's in my who gives a shit file. But he has reach, and some other people do, because apparently he's very famous. I don't know if you know this, but Piers Morgan is very famous for being part of a scandal where they hacked into or stole the passwords for or got around the security of somehow celebrities' phones and whatnot and spied on them, page 6 level shit. Funny how those folks, when they were chasing down Hugh Grant and all that stuff for philandering or whatever, or when married couples are going out and cheating on each other, and yet they never caught Weinstein. They'll tell you all about how Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, they were heading into a hotel or not into the right hotel with each other or somebody else, but they never caught Bill Cosby. Did you ever notice? All right, you get my point. And oddly enough, they never caught how the host of The Apprentice was Jeffrey Epstein's running buddy for 2.5 decades. That never came up. But boy, can they chase down a young starlet with an eating disorder. It's interesting. One must be harder than the other. It must be very difficult to stalk a 19-year-old girl from a TV series till she nearly does herself in. That must take so much work. They couldn't possibly look at the public videos and statements of Donald Trump leading up to the election where he had been hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein for a long time. It's a lot of work. It's busy work. That said, this asshole was all part of that. And the reason I spotted this is because in response to the assassination attempt, the alleged assassination attempt, because again, we don't know if this guy was planning on firing on Witkoff or the Secret Service, or if he was even there, which is something I will bring up in a moment. There are a lot of leaps people are taking, and we will get to that. Anyways, hit the like and subscribe. You'll see what I mean. I have not watched this. I've only seen a snippet. I just saw that the thumbnail had Jimmy Dore in it, because that's who you bring on if the former president's been shot at. You go to Jimmy Dore for some fucking reason. I guess Pierce they got that short a fucking Rolodex. All right.
Enforcement say the reason the latest shooter got within a few hundred yards of Trump is he's not the sitting president.
No, part of the reason he did is because that golf course is within a few hundred yards of a prison, a gun shop, a gun range, a strip club, a bouncy, like a go-go trampoline place, a 7-Eleven, 5 major roads. It's not in the middle of nowhere, dumb fuck. Everybody who drives by with a gun in their car around that area gets within 300 to 500 yards of Trump while while they have a gun and he's out walking around. Always, every time. Look at a fucking map. All right, I showed the map earlier today. It's hilarious. And we may have to bring it up again. But Trump's golf course is right next to a prison and a huge gun range. The road, it's called Gun Store Road or whatever on the north side. So stupid.
At this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. But because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible.
Also, by the way, if he was the sitting president, he wouldn't be at a private golf course golfing every other day on the random that he owns and comes and goes as he pleases and doesn't tell anybody what his schedule is and doesn't integrate with his staff at all, just kind of does whatever the fuck he pleases. It would be highly choreographed. And again, he wouldn't be at this fucking golf course, which is a goddamn dump. It's a dump. It's right next to the airport, for Christ's sake. Do you want to golf with the sound of jets landing and taking off?
This is as unacceptable as it's inexplicable.
It's completely explicable. It is fuck you, Piers Morgan. It is 100% explicable. He bought a cheap golf course right next to an airport and a prison that nobody else wanted because it was right next to an airport and a prison. It's got public roads all around it. It's not that big. And depending on which corner you're standing on, you are always 300 to 500 yards from Trump if he's golfing. Period. End of story. I don't care who the fuck you are. You can be on a public sidewalk and be that close because that's where it is. It's not in the middle of Montana, for fuck's sake. Nope, sorry.
As president, Trump killed the founder of ISIS and Iran's foremost military commander. He's one of the most famously divisive people on the planet.
Right. He's also lazy and can't see past the end of his fucking nose.
He's also the Republican nominee for president in a febrile campaign that has just a few weeks left to run.
A febrile campaign? Oh, how British. Yes, this is a feverish campaign, isn't it? You know? Oh, yes. Oh, the temperatures are running high, darling, aren't they? It's a febrile campaign. Oh, don't you know? I don't know. Maybe, I believe I've got I've got Trump fever. It's febrile, is that?
And above all, he came within a hair's breadth of dying in a round of bullets just 65 days ago.
Right, yes, another Republican took a shot at him. Uh-huh.
What else does a former president, maybe the next president, possibly have to do to justify the highest possible level of security protection?
Here's a good idea. Stick to your fucking golf courses that wouldn't shut down a city jail. That it wouldn't shut down an entire gun range. I got news for you. If they put a perimeter around that fucking place, every time we went there, the people of West Palm Beach would revolt. All right, hold on. This is going to aggravate me. Chat room, I did it before. I'll do it again. I don't mind. Hold on. Map. There we go. Copy. Now on to go. Trump International West Palm Beach. Now, for those of you that weren't here earlier, ladies and gentlemen, lovely. I'd like to present to you, if I could, Piers Morgan. You can fucking follow along, can't you? Oh, yeah. Right? Okay. So if there was a perimeter around this area that, like he's asking for, I'd like to tell you, I think this is the entirety of the course. Here you go. This is, I'm going to shrink this out a little bit more. Okay. Here it is. This is Trump International Club, West Palm Beach. This area right here. There's golf's all around here. This is at the corners of Gun Club Road, Kirk Road, and Summit Boulevard, where it arcs up here. And there's a big postal facility here and a Sky Zone trampoline park. And a gun club and gun club estates are over here. I'm dead serious. And then right over here, what's this thing right here? What's here's, you can golf over here. You can golf up here, Piers. You can do that. Now, but what's right here? Oh, the Palm Beach County Criminal Justice Complex and the Palm Beach County Main Detention Center. This is what you would call, ladies and gentlemen, a jail. Lovely jail. Ponds all around. Great swimming. Yeah. So, again, if you're going to put a perimeter on this park, I guess the jail's counted. It's got a wall around it. You're fine. I guess, I don't know if you're going to just shut all the windows facing the property when he's around or whatever, which would violate the civil rights of all the people in the jail, but whatever. Like they're going to be able to do fucking anything. And then here's the Palm Beach County Youth Football League gathers here. Here's the McDougal courts, which I guess are tennis courts. The Lake Lida Family Aquatic Center, the soccer fields, the Lake Lida Park over here, right on this side. And then that's what borders this side. On Gun Club Road, you have this open public park, which again, Piers Morgan is calling for them to shut down and seal in the perimeter every time he's there. I don't know what the distance is because maybe he wants them to seal one block in the other area. Because if they seal any further, they'll have to shut down Palm Beach International Airport. That's right. Donald Trump owns a fancy pants golf course where you can golf in the morning, you can golf in the afternoon, you can golf in the evening, and all that while you will hear planes taking off and landing. Some of which, if you look at here, like this is probably the main one that goes out over the water and everything, but there's also an alternate landing strip right here that basically makes people turn over the course, taking off and landing. By the way, that's fairly common. If you have a golf course near an airport, one of the reasons why it's free of buildings is because if a plane's going to crash, it's going to land they're going to want some ground past that's not full of houses. So in the early days of this, it probably had a north-south, facing runway, or they were primarily using this one so people could take off, circle around this into the pattern, and then go out to sea or whatever the fuck they were doing. So you'd turn and you'd fly over what's effectively empty land in a prison. So you're not hitting people's houses if you have to do an emergency landing right after takeoff. Just letting you know. And by the way, this is Mar-a-Lago right here. It's a dump, and it's in the landing path of the main runway, or in the landing path of the main runway at Palm Beach International Airport. For safety's sake, they bring it in. Most planes come in over the water. So if they have problems, they have as few problems as possible over places with a lot of homes. And so they come in this way. And his dump is, along with these other houses, are right in the path of Palm Beach International Airport. And then his golf course is in the circular path of the second runway, which makes them shitty pieces of real estate by all measure. If you don't believe me, go check on home sales around airports all the time. Yes, never mind the jet fuel raining down on you while you're golfing. Yeah, it's great stuff. So Piers Morgan thinks that there should be a bigger perimeter on this, which means there's a mall right there. I don't know what part they got to shut down. They got to shut down the post office while he's there, or is that federal territory? Or they got to build a wall around the property for him. Is that what it is? Because honestly,
any would-be assassin would have had no problem working out when and where Trump plays golf.
Yeah, all they have to do is call any prisoner that is serving time in the detention facility in West Palm Beach higher than the second floor. I guess they could be, his spotter? Try to get away from the payphones. I got to call something in.
By monitoring the movements of his enormous motorcade from Mar-a-Lago to his own golf club where he plays most weekends. Right,
yeah, so it's obviously not hard to find him, that he's there, and he could go to different one, but he goes to that dump because he needs to bring the Secret Service with him and drive up his fees there so that he can protect the place because it would go under if without that.
It's also the most obvious place for an attack, with Trump exposed in the open air for up to 4 hours at a location surrounded by endless places to hide.
Right. So I'm just saying, maybe he shouldn't go to his own golf club. Maybe he should pick one of these fucking golf courses that's in the middle of nowhere where they have a longer line of sight. I'm sure he has buddies who have golf courses. Why does he just golf there? Oh, because he's a fucking asshole. That's why.
And many access points from public roads. That's why.
Right. Yeah, there is that.
I would have assumed that after the catastrophic security failure in July, the Secret Service would have made damn sure that nobody could ever get that close to Trump again.
They did. They did. Because of the shape of the place, they scouted ahead. One of them, according to the reports, spotted a barrel, fired, and then the guy was seen later fleeing, which we'll get to in a second.
But I was wrong. Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw says Americans should be proud.
Our agency with this real-time crime center was fabulous.
Fabulous. Uh-oh. Look who's fabulous.
That's how we got the guy. We started out with, we don't know anything, to where we had a tag, we had a vehicle description, and we got an area where we saw the person.
Yeah, by the way, that is how most of these situations work. I don't know if you know this, but most crimes should start, I guess is my point, with you not knowing anything. Because if you know something beforehand, that's where you'd get into trouble.
So be proud of your law enforcement.
Spare me the plaudits. The gunman was able to hide behind a chain-link fence 300 yards from Trump.
Citation needed. According to the Secret Service report, and he may play some of this, I don't know. The Secret Service agent who fired, the only shots fired that day came from the Secret Service. The Secret Service agent who fired only saw a barrel. He didn't see a guy. He didn't see anybody leave. He didn't see the guy fleeing. He just saw the barrel of the gun and fired on the space. And then later, somebody saw Ruth running away. The question is, was he even fucking there when it happened? Had he gone to take a piss? Was it right? Because the assumption is he's there the whole day. He's resting. He's eating snacks. He's waiting for the thing or whatever. And they fire him like, oh shit, he bugs out. Instead of, I guess, firing on those guys or whatever, because apparently he was on their side. I don't know why, if you're going to fire on the president, you wouldn't assume to fire on the Secret Service guys who are firing at you or whatever. I guess because you're nuts and this is stupid is exactly why. But in the broader theory, but he bugged out and ran away. And ironically enough, I guess I won't say ironically. Ironically, the assumption is that he was there when the shots were fired. I don't think so.
Armed with an assault rifle and a scope. Fortunately, a sharp-eyed agent walking one hole ahead of Trump.
Fortunately, those are still legal in the United States because of the assault weapons ban ended. And also, Donald Trump signed an executive order allowing people with mental health issues to get their guns back, fortunately.
Spotted the rifle sticking out of the bushes and opened fire on him.
No. So the rifle uses he, him pronouns. He spotted the rifle poking out. There's no word that he actually saw the person.
Causing him to flee the scene.
No. We don't know why he fled the scene yet. We still don't. Again, so many assumptions.
That agent deserves great credit for potentially saving Trump's life. But the fact the shooter got so close is another abject security failure by the Secret Service, and frankly, a disgrace.
Do you think it's possible? I do, actually. We find out that this dickhead thought he'd set up a station because he didn't trust that the Secret Service was protecting Trump enough, and so he was going to watch out for him. That's another, because this guy's nuts, and he doesn't have a real ethic or a real moral center. So one day he's against him, one day he's for him because he's nuts.
The suspect has been identified as Ryan Wesley Ruth. We know he took an intense interest in the war in Ukraine.
Known to his friends as Baby. Sorry.
Attempting to recruit foreign fighters to support Zelensky's forces.
You know, we need thousands and thousands and thousands of people here fighting with the Ukrainians. We need. You know.
Which is, by the way, right at a time when the Russians were saying there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people from all over the country. NATO forces are in the country, and there's foreign fighters everywhere. Remember that talking point that Russia was using? That basically we're at war with NATO already because there are countries. This guy was alleged, and by the way, the people who are part of the Foreign Legion said he's full of shit and disavowed him like in June because he's crazy.
You know, we've got 190 countries around the world, and we need thousands from all of them. If the governments will not send their official military, then we civilians have to pick up the torch and make this thing happen.
Well, there's now a fatuous tug of war to establish his ideology in the court of public opinion. He reportedly voted Trump in 2016, but later backed Nikki Haley, donated to Democrat campaigns, and parroted the view that this election is an existential threat to democracy.
Yeah, real quick, how do you end up on Tulsi Gabbard's side of this circumstance? Where he's and by the way, he's not talking about she was in the Democratic campaigns. When he's talking about Nikki Haley, he in the post that I saw, he wants her to join up with Vivek Ramaswamy as Republicans. He wanted to see a ticket of Republican as an alternative to Trump. But I don't know how you're pro-Ukraine and pro-Tulsi Gabbard, and certainly not pro-Vivek Ramaswamy, right? Yes? Seems odd.
None of that matters, though. Ruth traveled to
Yeah, what matters is he's nuts. He's fucking nuts. Right.
Trump's golf course with an AK-47 and a GoPro camera to film an attempt on the former president's life.
Leap. That's a leap. We don't know that. I mean, it's very possible. It seems the logical conclusion, but we don't know that. Again.
He should never have got anywhere near him.
Well, then Trump shouldn't go anywhere near that fucking golf course because he's surrounded all the time by Floridians in their cars full of guns. It's fucking Florida.
The last director of the Secret Service was forced to resign after the Raleigh assassination attempt fiasco. I believe the new director, Ronald Rowe, should also now be forced to resign.
Why? They did their job. They scouted ahead. He never got close to him. Anybody who was line of sight, they went out looking.
There's too much at stake here. There's been so much talk in this election about democracy, but there's no democracy if the candidates don't survive to face the judgment of voters at the ballot box in November. In a moment, I'll be joined by my first...
Oh, fuck off. Anyways, that's his opening monologue about this stuff. It's like how it's such a fucking pearl clutch from all these assholes, and it's so aggravating. It's so what's the word? Lame. And by the way, there is it's fairly common belief system around them that there's a they there and a they and a them, and the they planned this whole theying of this shit. I want to show you something real quick. Hold on. This is the dude getting arrested. Just while we'll do some breaking news in this regard.
Showing the arrest of the 45 minutes north of West I-95 in Martin.
I also don't need audio of this. So here he backs up. He pulls over. They talk him out of the car. They make him lift his shirt up. He puts his shirt over his head so they can see he doesn't have a gun. He backs towards them, as you do, and they put him in the car. And then I'm not sure. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just this part of it. This is the taking down of this dude. And they get him over there. They put him against the car and they pat him down to make sure he doesn't have any sharp objects or any of that shit. And this was after a kind of hang standoff in like up the road. He got 45 minutes away. That said, where are we? Yeah. So Trump has, he went from, I just wanted to finish my whole and I'm not scared and blah, blah, blah. Sorry, Venmo sticker needs to be in the foreground. Oh, sorry, yes. In the foreground. Yeah. Did it move backwards? Oh, because of the thing, right? Because of the comms. Thank you. On this guy. I see what you mean. Thank you. Yep. My bad. Thanks, guys, for pointing that out to me since I added our little bridge thing. But there you go. Ta-da! This is so, Trump did, regular rally shit and all this stuff before, and he got interviewed in Las Vegas when he was here on Friday after his sweatathon. Right, it might have even been just before. I don't know, because again, this was one of those rallies where he didn't tell anybody to turn around and show the crowd. Right? He just, here we go. Yeah. I'm going to shrink this down. Also, I think this reporter is my height. I think Trump is shrinking. I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is that actual it's fairly short, but this is, I think, one of the few interviews he did right after that one.
Oh, that here in Nevada, the number one issue is the economy.
Right.
What?
Right. What do I get, Johnny? We've got San Francisco treat.
I wanted to find out from you, what one policy or program would you pursue that you think is most important that would help local Las Vegas?
Well, drill, baby, drill.
In terms of the economy?
And I think maybe the whole country, we're going to have interest rates coming down very rapidly because the interest rates are so high right now.
Okay, real quick. If interest rates come down very rapidly, you will destroy the economy. Honestly, what the fuck? If you shave 2 points, there's a reason why they raise them by quarter points and lower them by quarter points. If they come down very rapidly, your economy is fucked. How rapidly? What do you mean? On day one, so quickly, overnight, I'll make a phone call. I'll say, Jerome Powell, don't do it, Jerome. And Jerome Powell will say, why are you showing me a picture of my house?
You can't buy a home. It's we were at 2%, 2.2%, and they're now at 10%, but you can't get any money. So interest.
No, they're not at 10%. It's at like 6.3. What is it like? It's not at 2%. Hold on one second. This is going to annoy me. Move this over here. Let's see. Current. News. Today's 30-year mortgage interest rate remain at 5.9, while 15-year interest rates dropped to 4.9. That's and obviously I'm getting this from a crazed left-wing source. Oh, Fox Money. Today's 30-year mortgage rates remain at 5.9. High, but not 10. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about him and the fact that like nobody wants to loan him money. I guess.
Interest rates are going to be very important, the availability of money. As far as
the availability of money, whether you could drive by and pick it up, where they put it in the old stump where I used to pick it up, if you're going to be able to even convert rubles.
Hotel workers and things, as you know, no tax on tips is going to be very good. Also, as we announced last week, and I think it's going to be even maybe in a certain way more important, no tax on overtime. And then for the seniors, which will be fantastic because they've been devastated by inflation, this makes up for it. This will just about make up for it. We're going to have no tax on Social Security benefits. So those
okay, couple of things. One is he's not going to collect tax on those kind of things because he's going to institute a VAT tax or a sales tax to make up for the loss in revenue. For real. Like you drop all that. If you take off all, and again, if you don't work, there's going to be a lawsuit. I don't work 40 hours a week because the kind of work I do, I'm on shifts like a pilot, something like that. And so you can't create an arbitrary 40 hours a week and I only get overtime after that because as a dangerous focus job where, overtime means even more in those situations, police officers, emergency responders, that kind of stuff. So you can't make me work 40 hours a week for that shit, right? And before I get it, if you're giving it to everybody else. Yeah, there'll be just a giant import tax to cover it. Like that's what he's going to balance it out with the tariff idea. So everything will cost you more. And the other thing too is Mike Lee and these guys have been talking about this for Social Security for a while. But what they're going to do is take away the taxes on it, but then lower the amount you get because you're not giving some of it back to the government. It's just kind of direct payment or whatever. And again, they're going to start limiting how much you get, and they'll continue that cut. So, and again, if you look at it this way, if you pay interest on Social Security, or I mean, if you pay taxes on Social Security, you get the money, end of the year, you pay your taxes on it, right? And the money while it's with you is effectively an interest-free loan. That's what happens. You get this money, and then you give it back, basically, to the government. And so it acts as an interest-free loan. If you take away the taxes on it, you'll also take away the amount you're given. So you're given less money to start with. So it's so silly.
3 things are going to be great for this area.
Yeah, absolutely. Working people, seniors would all benefit from those things. Let me ask you this: once you take that revenue out of the federal budget, how are you going to?
I like this guy. He's actually he lures Trump in with a compliment, and then goes, "How are you going to make up for it? What do you think? Tariffs?"
Replace that.
We're going to have tremendous growth. We're going to have, drill, baby, drill. We have more liquid gold under our feet than.
Yeah, there you go. Drill, baby, drill. Do you think we're like Venezuela? You think we own that fucking oil? We give leases to these oil companies, but they got to use them. We can't put a gun to their fucking head. What is? I wish somebody would ask him what the fuck drill, baby, drill means. Because there's only 2 ways you make a company produce more of a product in such a way that it would lower the price of the product they produce. Only 2 ways. Subsidies. We, the taxpayer, will make up the shortfall. Just make more of this shit because we need it, right? So where are the subsidies going to come from? Or you force them to through regulation, or you take up or you basically nationalize Exxon. Gun to their head or subsidy. Carrot, stick. Which is it?
Anybody else. And we're going to be charging countries that have been ripping us off for years with tariffs. And the tariffs will make us, we'll have money like we've never had before.
Yeah, all right. Well, sure. That sounds smart. Yeah, sir. After you crash the economy and remove the entire, like blow a hole in the federal budget, then you'll try to force oil companies to produce more oil so that the price of it goes down to what, 0? And then we're going to make a lot of money from because we'll be buying a lot of goods from China, and they'll be paying us to sell their stuff here.
We're going to charge countries that it's a one-way street. For many, many years, it's been that way. In fact, I did a lot of it with China. I charged them hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes, and we had no inflation, essentially no inflation.
In taxes? No. In tariffs? There's a difference.
Inflation. But we're going to have countries that have been hurting us and ripping us for years, taking advantage.
They've been hurting us and ripping us? Owie.
Advantage of us on trade.
You mean ripping us off, or never mind.
And everything else. They're going to pay tariffs. And, the word tariff sort of, in some people, and I say not very smart people, but in some people's minds, tariff is a dirty word. It's not a dirty word. To me, it's the most beautiful word there is.
To me, the word tariff is the most beautiful word there is. It is a beautiful word, tarif. I don't even think the French have a word for tariff. Explain to us, though, I hope. Look, it's not just the word. It's the meaning. It's the depth. It's what's there. Here we have Donald Trump about to, no doubt, explain to us what a tariff is.
It's not going to raise your, inflation. It's not going to do anything. All it's going to do is get you even. So we have a tremendous deficit under.
I see. So you're talking only about parity tariffs, raising tariffs on the price of something so that it's equal to what we can sell it to in the United States, even if it comes from like a small African country. If we have sweet potatoes and they have yams, because yams come from Africa, they're basically the same, but that's the difference. If somebody wants yams or whatever, and they have to sell them into the United States, they have to pay a tariff to raise them to the price of the sweet potatoes grown in the United States. And in the process of doing that, make it so it costs them money to produce them in these situations so that they won't. And therefore, the shelves dry up of product after product after product after product?
Biden-Harris, or Harris-Biden, however you want to figure it.
Biden-Harris, I think, is the ticket. Then it would be Harris-Walz. You moron.
We're losing $2 trillion a year.
No, we are not. We're not losing $2 trillion a year. What are you talking about? All right. Does this asshole think? He does. He thinks the deficit and the trade deficit are the same thing, and he doesn't know which is which.
With the tariffs, we can get that number down to a very manageable number. Even ultimately, we can break it even.
No, you can't.
And it's going to generate tremendous growth because rather than paying the tariffs, there is no tariff if you build your plant in the United States, like the auto workers. The auto workers are going to be out of business. We're not going to have any auto workers anymore. It's going to all go through China and other countries, including Mexico, by the way.
Well, yeah, for Tesla, but not for everybody else.
And we charge tariffs. We put tariffs on those cars. Then,
right, we still do that. But we're not. If we do that with Mexico, you violate USMCA, right? If there's a Mexican, because again, remember the whole criticism a long time ago. This is look at his fucking face. He knows he's talking out of his ass. Now, there's a huge difference between cars built in China and cars built in Mexico or Canada. We have a trade deal with those countries. And there's a difference between a factory built by China in Mexico, which Biden has put more limitations on and weren't in the USMCA, right? Or just Ford opening a plant in fucking Juarez and making cars there because it's cheaper and there's more available employees, so they could just literally have a bigger workforce until the entire thing is fucking automated in like 4 years.
they're not going to be able to sell them, and therefore they're wasting their time in building the plant. But we'll say, build the plant over here. If you build that plant over here, there's no tariff. And they're going to end up building the plants over here. We're going to bring back the auto workers. We're going to bring back business. We're going to bring back
How many more Toyota and Hyundai plants does he think the United States needs or can have? I'm serious. I mean, there's a bunch of car companies that have been bought by the Chinese. I think Peugeot, was it VW also? And also, the only, the startup ones that are being built in the United States are electric.
Manufacturing. And we were doing it, and then when we got hit with the COVID, we had to focus on the COVID. But we were just starting to do it. We had everything fixed. We made the USMCA deal, which people love, one of the best trade deals we've ever made.
Yeah, except that whole country of origin loophole that you left in there, which was oddly beneficial to China. And the Biden administration had to shut it because I'm sure it was an oversight. You know what I mean? I'm sure it had nothing to do with the $17 million you got into that one bank account that we know of and the other 1,500 fucking LLC bank accounts that you have that God knows what the source of the money for those things is. I'm sure it has nothing to do with that. Okay.
But we're going to be doing it, and we're going to bring back manufacturing. And a big part of that's going to be the automobile manufacturing.
Do you worry, though, sir, that if you put tariffs on those foreign goods, that prices will increase, and that'll wipe out any advantage of your no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on...
This dude's... God bless him. Fuck is this dude's name? Because he's asking the right questions. He's keeping at it. Trump is not used to people drilling down this much.
Social Security?
What it's going to actually do is take away the profit that these countries are making. This is just eating into... They're going to still make plenty, but they're not going to make the kind of money they've made over the last 40 years. For 40 years, you take a look. Mexico is making $230 billion deficit we have with Mexico.
I mean, nothing says you understand the depth of this issue. Like Mexico is making $230 billion deficit we have. Seriously, I have... Did he learn to speak English watching, loops of Yoda?
40 years. For 40 years, you take a look. Mexico is making $230 billion deficit we have with Mexico. And they're going to make much less and maybe break even.
Why? We have a lot more money than they do. A shit ton more money than they do. So, of course, they're going to make shit and people are going to want to buy it and resell it. Also, does he recognize that drop shipping and foreign production is done by tons of mid-level and I would argue middle-class businesses all over the fucking place in the United States, and that if you drive those prices up, you're going to screw those out. Now, I'll give you an example. So the Biden administration just was changing the rules around the de minimis clause. Let's see, rule. There we go. Yeah, is that China has been using to get around the rules, so that they can ship stuff to like bodegas and places like that in the United States. So if you ever go into a store and it's just full of like rando knick-knack shit, the way the person who runs that store makes a profit is they take advantage of free shipping under these certain international rules. It's like favored nation trade partnership status in China. And if you mail something to someone's house under $800, they don't even look inside it to check what the fuck it is. So if it's a bunch of key rings or whatever the fuck, they don't care. And so what happens is, instead of having it mailed to the business, which by the way should be another rule, that past a certain point, that if you have products that you sell in a store mailed to your house, you have to list those with the government. You have to go, yeah, I had this mailed to my house. I don't have a showroom there, so I use my garage. That's fine, but you should have to list it. Right now they don't. And so if somebody orders, if they sell key rings or sunglasses or fucking lighters or any other shit at their store, they can, as long as they order them in batches under $800 for the wholesale, they get them sent to their house, and they effectively dodge tariffs on it. They don't pay the import tax. That's why they're cheaper than the regular stores are for these particular items. So the Chinese have been using this for quite some time, and the Biden administration is trying to put a stop to that. White House says Congress has to act on de minimis tariffs. Lawmakers and stakeholders had mixed reactions to a Biden administration announcement imposing tighter restrictions on de minimis threshold that allows foreign goods to enter the U.S. duty-free. You said duty. The administration also urged Congress to enact legislation by the end of the year, saying the proposed changes don't go far enough. It's clear how it isn't clear how quickly the administration will finalize the new rules. Products subsidized at the three trade restrictions under Sections 301, 201 of the 1974 trade law, Section 232 of the 1962 trade law will no longer be eligible for the de minimis threshold, which allows shipments valued at $800 or less to avoid tariffs and undergo little to no inspection. Hello, fentanyl precursors. Do you think Trump knows what this means? I'm going to sneeze again. I don't know what is today. All right. So this is the Biden administration. This is a huge impact on the way like Temu and other of these companies like Alibaba or AliExpress have undercut U.S. suppliers.
But we have to do that because it's not even sustainable. That's why $35 trillion in debt, the United States.
No, dude, you're responsible for a third of that.
We're going to actually start paying off debt. And we're going to also...
How? You can't pay off debt if you're fucking no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on, which, by the way, he'll never get through. That's not going to happen. They won't agree to it. The Republicans won't agree to it. That kind of thing. That's why he was saying, that shit about a bill won't get to Harris's desk to reinstitute Roe v. Wade because of the balance of the Senate, right?
So drill. We're going to use our resource again. We have more
liquid gold under. Shut the fuck up.
Liquid oil. We have more liquid gold. Let's call it under our feet than any country in the world. More than Saudi Arabia. Believe it or not, more than Saudi Arabia. More than Russia. I did something, Anwar in Alaska, as you know. Ronald Reagan wanted to do it.
He also, no, you didn't. You tried to do it. You opened it up. And then the next administration shut it down, which means you didn't open it up.
Everybody wanted to do it. They say it's the largest field in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia, the same size or bigger. Bigger than
So it's not under our feet. It's under Alaska/Canada's feet.
Texas, probably. You never know exactly what it is until you get in there and do it. But
yeah, you never till you're drilling holes in the fucking ground and destroying the water and the groundwater that goes into Vancouver and other places in Canada and Alaska. You don't really know until you start drilling.
Say it's potentially the biggest field in the world. And I got it done. Ronald Reagan tried. Everybody tried. They couldn't get it done. I got it done. They were ready to start drilling. And Biden, in this case, maybe her too, stopped it in their first week in office.
Yeah, it was one of the reasons why he won. That was one of the reasons why he had millions more votes than this dickhead.
Stopped it. It was 50, 60 years they've been trying to get it. They stopped it. I'll start that up again. I think I'll be able to get it quickly because we have gotten it done, so we know what to do to reinvigorate. But
to reinvigorate.
Anwar was a great disappointment. Nobody could believe that they did that. There was no reason to do it.
There was no reason to do it either way. It shouldn't even be a conversation.
We have all of this oil sitting there, and Alaska wanted it so badly. It would have been the greatest economic development program they've ever had. But the oil itself and what they have would have been great for the country. You know, when you ask, how are you going to get the country moving? Here's a perfect example. So we'll be starting.
What, 20-cent gasoline? Is that the theory?
That and many other things. And the word is growth. We're going to have tremendous growth.
But
we're gonna outgrow the hole I dig. You know how like when you're digging in the sand and someone else is trying to crawl out and you're still digging and throwing it over your shoulder and hitting them in the face with sand as they're trying to crawl out and the sides are collapsing in? That's the Trump economy.
But those foreign countries paying those tariffs, won't they pass those along? If they passed a tax on golf memberships, you would probably at your resorts pass that along to your members, right? You wouldn't have just absorb it.
It sort of depends on the market, not necessarily. You look like you might be a golfer, actually, but not really necessarily.
Not a good one, sir.
Not a good one. There aren't too many good ones around, I'll tell you. But
what the fuck? There aren't too many good golfers around? What does that even mean? Right? It's just what? Just you and not that guy? Jesus Christ. What an asshole.
No, not really. I think that you're going to find, and I think when we do it, and different countries also will be tariffed differently. You know, there are some that make tremendous margins on us. We have countries, I won't go into it now, but we have countries.
Why not? Why don't you name drop two of them?
That are charging us 200% and 250 and 300%, and we charge them nothing.
Okay. Are you talking about like champagne versus sparkling white wine because there's only one region and half the economy of fucking France is held up by the fact that it's special, and so to call it champagne and to sell champagne, they have a markup, of white wine coming in because they don't want to undercut the fact that this is one of two industries and we dwarf them in the amount of money that we have and the resources that we have. We could just basically gut the economies of a bunch of different places if we flooded them with the products that we make, or that we, by the way, don't make but ship. Have them talk about being like a bounce point for Chinese product into other countries, which is what they're most worried about.
And it's insane, and you just can't do it. And it's really not sustainable. It's not sustainable. There are certain countries that I'd rather not mention them now because I'll be mentioning them if and when we win. But they're going to have to pay up. And
how do they pay up? What the fuck are you talking about? In this case, if they were 200 to 250% against us, they would have to lower what we pay. Yes?
It's not going to have inflationary. If anything, it's going to go the opposite. We're going to be paying off debt.
Why?
We have too much debt. As a country, we have too much debt, and we have to start making money. Because I consider deficits, and a lot of people disagree. They say a deficit doesn't mean anything. You've heard that. They say deficits don't mean anything. Well, I view it as profit and loss in a certain way. And we have to, at a minimum, break even or make something. And, China is making now with us $1 trillion. $1 trillion. They're building
what?
Their military with.
They're not making $1 trillion. We don't have $1 trillion trade deficit with China right now, you asshole. What? Honestly, what does anybody know what the fuck he's talking about? I honestly don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I view it as profit and loss in a certain way. And we have to, at a minimum, break even or make something. And, China is making now with us $1 trillion. $1 trillion. They're building their military with, and I had it down to about 250. When I came in, it was.
Okay, just fucking raging bullshit. What are you talking about? Again, I think we're relatively close to where it was while he was president. And even then, it spiked and went back down.
Was a $518 billion deficit. Can you imagine?
Yes, because companies in this country were making and buying stuff wholesale there and having it shipped here, drop shipping it and selling it to Americans via drop shipping, especially through Amazon and other sources, which, you know, for a certain period of time were acting like a portal to Alibaba, right? For a lot of goods. You don't believe me? Go use that. There's like an app you can add that shows country of origin for the stuff you buy on Amazon. And you can see that it's actually not, the reason it takes as long as it does to get here is because it's not coming from inside the United States. It's coming from China directly. It doesn't even go to a fucking warehouse.
And it was heading south. When COVID came, we had to play all a different game. Everybody had to play a different game. But we were getting it down rapidly.
What game was that?
But now I understand it's over $1 trillion with...
You do? Is that what you understand? You understand that it's over $1 trillion, you absolute fucking asshole?
With her and with him.
I see. So both of them are at 300, and if you combine them and double them and carry the two, it's got to be... All right, hold on. Whoops, get over here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Here's a trade deficit. This is the status we have here. This is 2020 was the lowest one, $307 billion. Previously, the low point and nothing was shipping, amazingly enough. 2023 is actually the lowest, 279. We had 382. We had during Biden, we've had 352 billion, 382, which is coming out of COVID, and then down to 279 after the restrictions that the Biden administration put on last year. During Trump, 2016, 346, 2017, 375, 2018, $418 billion. Donald Trump is responsible for the largest deficit with China in our history. $418 billion. And when he says he got it all the way down, it's kind of like gas prices. No, he fucking didn't. COVID did. COVID made the fucking border impassable because there were fewer cases in Mexico than the United States. Why the fuck would you want to walk over here, get paid under the table with no health benefits to pick strawberries in a country where your chances of dying of a communicable disease are actually higher than the country you're coming from? My fucking God. The lowest point for gas prices. Nobody was going anywhere, you dumb motherfucker. We were all at home. No wonder nobody wanted gas. At $1.87. Yes, because the only people that were driving were fucking Postmates and federal vehicles. And then, of course, the lowest trade deficit ever. Yeah, because we were effectively, the entire world was telling Russia to go telling China to go fuck themselves. You tit. God, he's so dumb.
They've done a terrible job.
How critical is an issue is the national debt, and how specifically would you try to bring that down if you're reelected?
Well, the way you bring it down is through really great growth. Also,
yeah, really great growth. Growth that is so great that it's just great, man. It's great.
So you bring it down with tariffs because these countries are making all of our product. You know, when you have a...
What was that again?
Bring it down with tariffs because these countries are making all of our product. You know,
I'm sorry, one more time. They're doing what?
Also, you bring it down with tariffs because these countries are making all of our product. You know,
I see. They're making all of our product. So, I mean, never mind the fact that, yes, chat room is going like, tariffs don't work that way, fuckhead. We know. That's... And by the way, thanks, Steve, for the super chat, and thank you to Randalena. Thank you so much, and Angela. Oh my gosh, Angela, I'm worried that Putin will attempt something along the lines of the Cuban Missile Crisis at October surprise, and Trump will try to use this to his advantage. Those two are not above blackmailing the whole planet to get Trump back in power. Yeah, they're going to have a harder time getting their military sucks right now. I'm not too worried about that. I do think there'll be a lot of nuclear saber rattling to help him, but they don't want to die. So I don't see that happening.
When you have a 100% tariff on a nation, better than the money is the fact that they're not going to want to pay it very long, and they're going to build a plant here. If they build a plant here, there is no tariff.
What does this plant make? The mango plant? Yep. So we have like food tariffs and stuff. So if they won't take our corn, we won't take their, I don't know, what isn't grown in the United States. Dates. Right? And anything that it's used for or in as a preservative or a sweetener or any of that kind of stuff, like that, there's a cast-on effect to all that stuff. Right. Yes, every plant in the world will move to America, Bob. That's exactly right.
So we're going to do it through growth. We're going to have very rapid growth, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it
very quickly. We're going to lower interest rates really quickly. We're going to have very rapid growth really quickly. We're going to jack up tariffs really quickly. And if you don't think I don't know how this works, check out my casino. Just rent a room there. The opulence, the beauty, the buffet.
do it quickly and effectively, and it's.
Yeah, just you know what? Who am I? If he says quickly and effectively, who am I to even guess? You know, how dare I?
Going to make a lot of money, and we're going to start paying down our debt. We have to start paying down our debt.
Right. But again, you wouldn't be giving anybody a tax cut at all if you want to pay down the debt, because that's the one area where you're guaranteed revenue, and that revenue can be static and you can count on it.
Mr. President, here in Nevada and I think elsewhere in the country, there's a group called Republicans for Harris. I spoke to one of their members here the other day. What's your reaction to people who are Republicans who say they're going to vote for Kamala Harris, people such as Dick Cheney and other members of this group? They're not all rhinos, are they?
A lot of.
Oh, look at that. They're not leading him into like not being able to just have a jumping off on it. They're all rhinos. Fuck them. They're not all rhinos, are they? Because not Republicans in name only. These are legit Republicans. It's the point he's trying to make.
Some are rhinos, I will say that. But we have a lot of people that are Democrats.
Well, I knew you were going to say that. He knew you were going to say that. That's why he said what he said, so that you would look like an asshole for saying what you were already going to say. So he took away one of your primary defenses because you're that easy to fuck with.
Democrats that are voting for me because they can't stand the open borders anymore. They can't stand.
No, not at all. There's not a big wall of Democrats. There's not even a spattering.
And the stupid financial, as an example, I terminated the Russian pipeline, the biggest pipeline in the world. It's called Nord Stream.
No, it isn't.
Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. Nord Stream 2. And
why is it 2? Oh, because there's a 1, right.
He comes in, he lets them build that, and he terminates Keystone XL pipeline, which was so important for us as a.
Why? It's Canadian oil over American aquifers. Oh, hey, you know what's really important? Hold on, let me see if I can show you this. Let's see. Let's see. Why wouldn't you want oil pipelines going across and through America as much as you want to? Okay, so let's go to here, go to there, and let's see. Let's see. Media. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a pipeline in Texas is on fire right now. When I first saw this, I thought this was Russia, for fuck's sake. Now, I can't see why anybody wouldn't want that running by their neighborhood or through their area or any of that shit. I mean, honestly, there it is. Look at that. What's not to like? I mean, obviously, it looks like and by the way, they are hosing down the area in case the fire spreads just to wet it. But I guess shutting off the pipeline might be a thing, maybe. And the reason I saw this because I think Ted Cruz was posting about it, telling everybody to listen to their to local officials and the government to help them out. Yeah, a pipeline has exploded and is on fire in a Houston suburb, forcing evacuations. I can't imagine why you wouldn't want one of these in your neighborhood or running across your tribal land or running across your aquifers or any of that shit. Yeah. That's, what could possibly... That seems fine. That's good stuff. That is some serious fucking fire, people. Look at the force of that shit. The pipeline is owned by Energy Transfer, the greedy company that raked in $2.4 billion during the Texas freeze blackouts. They donated over $5 million to Trump in 2024 and wrote Greg Abbott a $1 million check. Once again, it's profits over people. It's the Sunrise Movement posting about this, the group that owns that pipeline. Good times. So anyways, he was saying drill, baby, drill, something about it's great pipelines. Pipelines are great.
The country, but I guess, I don't know, the union got to him, somebody got to him. Maybe it was actually the union wanted it to be built. I guess it was the environmentalists, and environmentally having something underground is better than having trucks all over the highways.
Yeah, that pipeline isn't underground, stupid. What are you talking about? Does this asshole think these pipelines are all underground? Or that Keystone XL was going to be?
So I have many Democrats that are voting for me.
No, you fucking don't.
And largely, if you...
Sorry, I think this is required. Real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, hello bullshit. This is what we commonly refer to as absolute hornswoggle, garbage, bullshit, nonsense, silly, silly, silly. And this is his defense, by the way, why he can afford to lose Republican voters because he's got so many Democrats coming over. No. If
you think of it, the Cheneys like war. I don't like war.
Well, then why didn't you get out of Afghanistan while you were there?
Liz
Why'd you support Russia in Syria?
Cheney is, she's like gone berserk. She lost with a...
She's like gone berserk. I like it when my presidential candidates get wonky.
The greatest margin in the history of Congress. Nobody's ever lost by so much as she has. And her father stayed. Yeah,
keep saying the margin part since it's fucking Montana, or sorry, it's Wyoming. Which, by the way, where's my fucking camera thing when I want it to pop up, you jerkweed? Do I have to close the window and open it again? Maybe so. There we go. Because I gotta say, there's winning, and then there's Wyoming winning. I beat Liz Cheney by more than anyone. I'm Harry Hagman. I won. I'm a winner. I beat the Cheneys because they didn't show fealty to Donald John Trump. And that's how you win. Wyoming. It's you.
Stayed with her, and that's okay. I didn't know the father very well. I did give a pardon to Scooter Libby, and Bush wouldn't do it. And Cheney and Bush didn't speak over it because Cheney thought it should be done. But I gave a pardon against a lot of people saying don't do that. But I thought
you sided with Dick Cheney over George Bush about one of the Iraq war architects who lied. Yeah, and so you were like, I don't know why. Look, if we put people in jail for lying, eventually they're going to put me in jail for lying, so we can't have that.
He got treated very unfairly. I gave a pardon to Scooter Libby.
You gave a party to him?
Which Cheney wanted to have done. He was begging Bush to do it. Bush would not do it. I did it because I thought Scooter Libby was treated unfairly.
How? What was it about his treatment that was unfair? What was it? Anybody? Anybody know? Can anybody? What was the part that bugged you about it? Where you're sitting there, you're in the Oval Office, you're looking over his case. You only got a few days left. You're a lame duck president. You're going through everything, and you're like, God, I can't. You know what? You know what's really unfair is that Scooter Libby has a check for $2 million to give to me for a pardon, and these other people don't. That sounds unfair. Approved.
But he also was one of the first ones to endorse me. But the bottom line is,
did you give him half his money back for that?
I didn't.
What? By the way, one of the first people to endorse you, Scooter Libby or Dick Cheney?
But I have many more people are leaving the Democrats to support me.
No, you don't.
We have numbers that I've never seen before.
Right, or have seen, or are seeing, or will see since.
Because they want to have
strong
borders, and they want to have drill, baby, drill, and they want to have...
What does drill, baby, drill mean?
All the things that we do, and they want to have a lot of growth in our country. And
and they're looking at the actual growth from the Biden administration, and they're saying enough already.
This area, as you know, we just had a poll, and we're leading in this area.
This area? What do you mean? You, the reporter, and the general staff in this room?
And I think we will. And the workers like me because they like the no tax on tips. They love the idea of no tax on the overtime because they want to work overtime and they don't want to give up half of their overtime because of the fact that, you know, they have some obscure rule.
Nobody gives up half of their fucking overtime because of some obscure rule. What are you talking about? People's taxes don't go up the more they work. What the fuck? Hold on. Run that by me again, dum-dum. Motherfucker. What?
Give up half of their overtime because of the fact that, you know, they have some obscure rule.
It's so obscure, no one's ever fucking heard of it. What? Huh? Yeah, like, no, what? Who would ever, by the way, put on a higher tax on overtime? I want to know who implemented that. I mean, how dare they? Oh, fuck me. Like, that is so odd. What obscure rule?
So I think we're doing very well. I do think
You think you're, yeah, okay. Do whatever you do. Don't answer the question.
Very importantly is on the Social Security, because the Social Security, the seniors have gotten wiped out.
No, they have not. Well, I mean, unless you count the ones you let die during COVID.
And when I say no tax on Social Security benefits, every senior should run and vote for me because it's going to be good. But, you know, I've loved this area. We have a very successful job here, the Trump Hotel. And
we have a very successful job here. The Trump Hotel. We have a very successful job here, the Trump Hotel. It's still stupid if he said, we've done a very successful job here, the Trump Hotel, which I think is what he would normally say if his brain wasn't rotting right in front of us.
Benefits. Every senior should run and vote for me because it's going to be good. But, you know, I've loved this area. We have a very successful job here, the Trump Hotel. And it's been just great from the day we built it. We've had great luck. I was just there. I stay here, stay there.
Wherever, here, there, everywhere.
And we appreciate you coming over.
Jesus, leave me alone. You're about to ask me a follow-up question on that, and I don't know what the fuck to say. We've done a very good job here at the Trump Hotel, and thanks for coming. Bye.
You know, I've loved this area. We have a very successful job here, the Trump Hotel. And it's been just great from the day we built it. We've had great luck. I was just there. I stay here, stay there.
Here and there. You know, I don't know if you know this, but the building that's here is also there. Like, it's a there. Some people don't know how here and there work as words. And so sometimes, you know, people like you can get confused. So I just wanted to clarify that here is there and there is here. So.
And we appreciate you coming over.
Absolutely. One last question, Mr. President. I know you have to go.
Leave me alone.
If there was a Republican for Harris here in the room with us, what would you tell that person in terms of persuading them to vote for you as opposed to vote for Harris?
Well, if it was a woman, I'd have Corey grab her and throw her out of the room. And if it was a man, how tall is he? Because that, I would either leave or he would be escorted out.
Probably wouldn't tell him anything because usually it would be maybe a personality problem. Maybe they don't like the way I was tough on China. A lot of them don't want me to be tough on China.
All right. None of them are worried about that. Like, if you want to talk about a bipartisan issue, tough on China qualifies, especially these days. It's the go easy on Russia part, actually, that they don't like. You want to talk about a foreign policy reason why they might not like you, kissing Putin's taint might be the issue.
A lot of them don't want me to be tough on anybody.
Yeah? Is that what they want? So, sorry. Harris Republicans don't want you to be tough on anybody. That's your answer. That's your answer. That's what you're going to go with. They don't want you to be tough on anybody.
Because they're taken care of by people. You saw that. You saw that with Biden. He gets money from his family gets money from so many different countries.
Hey, stupid. He's asking you about Republicans that support Harris. You also didn't see that with Biden. Biden is supporting his own vice president because he knows she can do the job, you absolute idiot. What a fucking goon. He's asking you about Republicans. All right. Which Republican is on the take? Say it. What do you got to lose? If they're not coming around between now and the election, fucking loomer the shit out of them. Let's hear it, dummy.
And a lot of it's that, but...
Is it? A lot of it's that?
For every one they have, I have many. I have so many.
Yeah, so many. It's just and they're not comfortable. I've got this all these Democrats that love me that are totally hot, and I met them at camp, and they live in Canada, and we talk on the phone all the time. And I lay on the bed, I'm like, "What are you doing right now?" "No, you hang up." And then they go, "You hang up first." And I'm like, "I will hang up," and then you hang up. And then I'm sitting there with my feet interlocked, just staring out the window and going, "This summer is going to be so fun. You guys don't even know." My Republican for Harris that really likes me is a Democrat, also loves me more than anybody like you. Stupid. I have a bunch of Canadian Republicans that I met at camp that totally will vote for me.
That have left the Democrats and they've come here. I mean, the governor...
Here from where?
Of West Virginia, fantastic man, and Big Jim, I call him.
Do ya? You call him Big Jim. Hold on.
Governor of West Virginia, fantastic man.
Hold on. Big Jim Justice. Where is it? Okay, open. I'm gonna show you Big Jim. Oh, God damn it! Give me. All right, Jim. American Mile. Where's his? I want to. How tall is he? Is he just fat? What's happening? Current governor is focused on. Okay, Jim Justice. There he is. Yeah, okay. Literally his nickname is Big Jim. Trump doesn't call him that. Here, hold on. This is Trump doesn't call him Big Jim. Everybody calls him Big Jim. Nickname Big Jim. Do ya? I came up with it and now it's stuck. It's so good. So yeah. Let's see. And this is why he brings him up, by the way. Trump appears to confuse Virginia and West Virginia governors during debate on abortion. So that's why he's bringing up Big Jim.
And Big Jim, I call him.
Everybody calls him that. Also, I don't think it's because he's taller than you.
He left the Democrats and he became a Republican, and now he's going to win the election. He's going to win very easily. So we have a lot of them, too.
Right, but he's not going to win being a maggot.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for hosting us here. This is a beautiful property.
Good interview.
And by the way, the reason he said there and here is because he forgot for a moment that he's actually in Trump Tower in Vegas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and you can see right down here, this is the Piers Morgan thing I was showing you earlier. That's Jimmy Dore on the end. Like, he brought him on there just because, I guess, because Piers Morgan wants a balanced and sane conversation about the fact this guy said he liked Ukraine when he clearly didn't. Now, speaking of one of our favorite Congress ladies, Harriet Hagman from the great state of Wyoming has showed up on Newsmax to expose the dishonesty of Kamala Harris. Let's see her expose. Ladies and gentlemen, it's House Sparks Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams forever and ever. Tell everyone, because it's true, not because I told you to. This is Harriet Hagman. She wants to expose the dishonesty of Kamala Harris. Here it comes.
That's Wyoming Congresswoman Harriet Hagman. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me
Thank you for having me. I'm on the TV
today.
You know, we just aired the moment when President Trump talked about crime under the Biden administration.
I love when he talks about crime. Oh.
How it's exploding. He talked about the DOJ numbers. In the end, he was proven right. Also about the fracking. Kamala Harris said, in 2020, I never said I was going to ban fracking.
Listen, bitch, is this my interview or your interview? I know what happened. Shut up and ask me a question. You're wasting the time of the great state of Wyoming.
But in 2019, there is video of her saying that. The transgender for the illegals to pay for their operations.
The transgender for we can't have that. We gotta make legal transgender for the.
She checked a form saying, yes, she pushed for transgender surgeries to be paid for the criminals, right? For prisoners in jail.
So, I heard that too. So if men want to be in women's prisons because they identify as trans, she wants to make sure they cut their jim off first. And if they're willing to go through with it, we're going to pay for it. You're in here on 19 counts of rape. And if you want to tell everybody you're trans now because you think we're just going to buy it, we're going to pay for you to get your surgery, buddy. We'll make you a brand new hole. You'll be just fine. I'm for it.
Talk to me about your frustration seeing that debate.
Oh, I'm so frustrated that I couldn't be there to help you.
So the frustration lies in the fact that, number one, the moderators were obviously so clearly biased. But
they were so fairly biased, which is totally unfair. Wait.
It also was just dishonest from beginning to end. The fact is that the Biden...
the part where he was talking, sure.
Administration has gone to war on affordable energy. So when we focus on...
Yeah, they went to war on affordable energy, and they went all in on natural gas and hydropower, which there's a lot of in Wyoming.
Something like whether she's going to ban fracking. The EPA and the Department of Energy are doing exactly that as we speak under this...
Oh, my God.
...administration. She can try to say,
the EPA, hold on. Wait 1 second. The EPA is banning fracking right now? Besides, no, they aren't. What?
That really isn't my position, but we know what the EPA is doing. The EPA is trying to shut down our coal-fired and our gas-fired power plants.
Coal is not... Nobody gets coal through fracking. Stupid. And no, they're not. They're trying to phase out gas-powered ones over time, and largely, by the way, oil-powered ones, which is the leftover older ones. So, no. Coal has nothing to do with fracking, dipshit.
They're trying to transition us to a form of energy that isn't feasible, and it's going to create serious problems, just like what you're seeing in Germany. Germany is being deindustrialized because of their failed energy policy, and that's exactly the energy policy.
Yeah, no, it's not exactly the energy policy. And by the way, we have a lot more energy than they do. That's why we ship natural gas overseas.
Policy that they are implementing under the Biden administration. So for her to try to say, oh, no, I'm not banning fracking, they're banning oil and gas development right now. The number.
They're not banning oil and gas development right now.
Of permits that have been granted under this administration is down 95%.
From what? There's like 9,000 unused leases. There's a backup of permits. Why do you have to give them any more? They haven't even done the ones they've already requested.
They just issued the Buffalo RMP Resource Management Plan that would stop all coal mining in the Powder River Basin.
Yeah, good. Sorry, what's the name of this thing, shall we?
5%. They just issued the Buffalo RMP Resource Management.
Okay. The Buffalo RMP. Buffalo RMP. Buffalo RMP. Well, I guess RMP stands for Resource Management Proposal. So why would you call it? Buffalo Supplemental EIS Bureau of Land Management. No more fracking or anything. You're not allowed anymore. It's all stopping. Hold on. I've got a copy of it right here. That's what it says. The purpose of the SES is to address the United States District Court of Montana order in relation to use planning. BLM must prepare an RPSI to address about the final complete. The purpose is final as it provide an additional analysis land plan that completes a new coal screening and analysis, considers a no leasing and a limited coal leasing alternative. Limited. No coal alternative. Disclose the public health impacts, both climate and non-climate impacts of burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas from the decision area. The need for actions by the United States District Court District Montana opinion in order to replace the decision of coal leasing availability of Buffalo Field Office. That's it. This area. There's not going to be any oil and gas from this area. They're taking all of it from this little lipsticky area. Look at this. We call this the Wrigley Spearmint Gum gas fields of Wyoming. Oh. Some natural gas they can't stop. Now, what was I saying? Gillette, well, time bills, BLM is so mean to me. Buffalo FO. Fuck off! That's the thing. Upon resolution of the land, BLM will issue an ROD, the recommended operational whatever. BLM would make every attempt to promptly render a decision on each protest, including your address, phone number, blah, blah, blah. Regulations specify the required elements of your protest, take care of documented relevant facts, such as possible references, cite the planning of a diagram, blah, blah, blah.
Management plan that would stop all coal mining in the Powder River Basin.
Yeah. Good. Hey, the Powder River Basin. Did it occur to you, lady, where the powder's coming from?
State of Wyoming has 40% of the United States coal reserves, and this administration is attempting to ban our ability to access that affordable energy. So
it's not affordable. It's cheap, but it's not affordable. Also, I got news for you. Wyoming has more value as a tourist state than it does as an energy producer. We don't need your coal. Get fucked.
It is ridiculous to me that she tries to dance around these issues, and that
also, again, you don't frack for coal, you dumb fuck. Period. You don't frack for coal. Yeah, you do. Go frack yourself, Sparks. You don't frack for coal, stupid. It's not how it works.
The folks from ABC and these moderators are not even capable of understanding the issues that we're dealing with right now.
Right.
In terms of, if I may, ma'am, the issues that you're dealing with right now. So this would be Wyoming. This is this little area. This is the area. Here's Wyoming. This is the area covered by where this permit. This little area right here, where a water basin apparently goes through, according to you. All this area, you can't do it here. You got to find an alternative to coal in this area. The rest of it, I guess, fuck off. But this part right here, this is the area she's talking about. In the whole state of Wyoming, where there are 3 fucking cities / towns. Yeah, that's it. That's the area she's talking about in Wyoming. That's the whole fucking thing. Oh my God, it's almost the entire state. Look at this. Yeah. Oh wait. No, it's not. Yeah, that's the area she's talking about. They're just trying to shut the whole state down. You're fucked.
And this is why
couldn't have anything to fucking do with the fact that it's coal mining where water comes from, where water that's crucial to the surrounding states comes from. Couldn't possibly be that. It couldn't possibly be the same reason why Appalachia is such a fucking dung heap of birth defects. Because of West Virginia coal mining and the sleuth and garbage that fucking comes down the river into those areas. And you ever wonder why the fucking Deliverance kid was born blind with no fucking eyes, you dumbass? It's because of all the coal pollution. Somebody was saying, check out my Venmo. Cheryl, oh, thank you, Cheryl. Giving you laughing cramps. Well, don't. It's not me. It's not me. It's me. I'm the one giving you the laughies, okay? I want you to know I'm ready to frack. Let's get to fracking, get to fracking coal. Get to frack, we'll frack all night. Frack. And natural gas. All right, sorry.
We're seeing inflation skyrocketing.
Absolutely.
How they canceled the Keystone Pipeline. Anything?
Yes. Our inflation is skyrocketing, even though it isn't, because the entire world economy started up again after COVID, and we're the only country in the world that had extra money to spend, and the strongest economy in the world, and we maintained that. It has to be that our monetary issues came from a Canadian pipeline not being built that wouldn't have produced for years.
Thing that's transported, the cost of it will go up. They declared war on the fossil fuel industry. So instead, we're buying oil, dirty oil from Venezuela.
No, we're not. The only reason we give a fuck at all, I guess, on our economic level is it allows more oil into the general pot that people pull from, and so poorer countries will get the shit oil, we get the good oil because it's easier to produce, and turn into other stuff, and the shitty tar Venezuela oil that Trump is always talking about gets processed at one plant in Texas, which is not the only plant in the world that can process it. He's a goofy motherfucker. I don't understand who in the world thinks that Venezuela's entire oil industry is predicated on one plant in Texas.
Filling the coffers of a lot of mullah for the mullahs, and we've empowered Iran, which is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. It's all...
No, Russia is. Now, honestly, Russia gives more money to Iran than Iran can give out.
Connected. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing throughout the world. So it is, like you're saying, Congresswoman.
What are we seeing throughout the world? inflation decimating other countries, but we're recovering nicely. Thank you very much.
It's so much bigger than fracking, the detrimental policies that the Biden-Harris regime has
Yes! Yeah! What did you say? I missed it.
implemented.
This administration has a moratorium on LNG exports. Right now, that is what Germany and a variety of European countries desperately need. So what are they doing? They're turning to Iran. They're turning to Venezuela. They're turning to Russia. So
and they're turning to Venezuela, and they're using roof tar to drive their trucks. And that could be us. That could be us, or it ain't us. You go. This could be us, but you playing. Oh my gosh. Who am I?
You're exactly right. The policies.
You're totally right. That's why I know it says if I want to be a guest, I have to say you're totally right to the host at least once.
Are already being implemented. That's why we're seeing this. And she knows that she has to win Pennsylvania. So she's lying to the people.
Oh, she's lying to the people of Pennsylvania, but she knows she's not going to win Wyoming. So it's up to me to lie to the people of Wyoming.
People in Pennsylvania saying, "Oh, I'm not going to be banning fracking," but it's her administration.
I'm not going to ban coal fracking. I'm not. Why does she hate clean coal fracking? Just because it doesn't exist?
Administration and their agencies that are doing exactly that as we speak.
Terrible.
Right, and Bernie Sanders, he was asked about it.
Fucking Bernie, don't even. I have to change my undies.
Like, wow, Kamala Harris, is she abandoning her leftist policies? And he said straight up, no, she's kind of going more in the middle to appeal to moderates. So he admitted that she's lying, that this is a political campaign ploy. But, Kamala Harris.
It's just terrible. I know you don't have to tell me, sister. We're all in this together.
Harris had a very
natural gas. We're gonna make that. Did you know? I don't know if you know this, but natural gas is made from clean coal. It's true.
rehearsed performance. We saw that. And I want you to take a look at one of Trump's, one of the best lines of the night.
It's the best line of the night is the part where he said, "They're eating the dogs. They're eating the dogs." I did a TikTok dance to the whole thing. They're eating the dog. They're eating the dog. They're munching the cats. They're eating the pets. I love that song. That's why. That's good. When that comes out at the club, I'm like, oh, that's my jam.
He slammed her spineless brand of politics while discussing
he did it so well.
Computer chips, which is, of course, another big deal when it comes to the
computer chips, very big deal. Not in Wyoming. But sure.
The economy.
Okay, bitch, listen. Do you really have to rub it in my face that Arizona has chip plants, Ohio has chip plants, North Carolina, South Carolina has chip plants, but Wyoming has coal? You really just want, why don't you just call me a fucking frontier lady and say I would have been a looker in the 1800s? Why you say that, you dizzy bitch? Why would you do that? And we shared so much on natural gas.
Take a look at this.
We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have.
Yeah, like the Chips and Science Act, which I guess we could have passed while he was president. There's no reason why you couldn't. It just we had bigger fish to fry, okay? And I love fried fish, but it does not love me back.
I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat.
But
you're right. That was so good. I love that part almost as much as they're eating the dogs. They're eating the dogs. dogs and cats and eating the pets that the people have, and I saw it on TV. I love it. That's my jam.
He's only pretending to go to his policy. Congresswoman.
Yeah, that was his mistake. He should have said, she's pretending to steal my plan, so I was going to get her one of my fake China-made MAGA hats, which are really all we have.
What do you think about what the president said there?
So again, Congress, I wasn't in Congress yet, but Congress actually passed the CHIPS Act. And part of the purpose of the CHIPS Act was so that there would be domestic production of those.
Shut up! Why are you even bringing this up?
Resources that we need. The problem is that this administration, between their Department of Labor and their various other federal agencies, have imposed such incredible restrictions upon the various organizations and businesses that would actually produce those that they haven't.
What? Wait a minute. What? What? So they pass. So the Biden administration puts forward the CHIPS and Science Act. It's their idea. It gets passed, and then they hamstring like, this is just idiotic. What the fuck?
Been able to do so. So that.
What are you talking about? There's been billions of dollars worth of investment in new facilities, from Intel to NVIDIA to Taiwan, TSMC.
That's exactly right, because they have all kinds of LGBTQ requirements. They have all.
Oh my God. So you can't have a chips fabrication site in the United States because you got to hire a bunch of queers. Is that what you're saying? You can't open it until you hire enough black women. Is that how you think this fucking works? You absolute asshole. What the hell?
All kinds of minority-owned business requirements. And what they've done is they've adopted rules and regulations to make it impossible to actually carry out the legislation that was passed.
What? I have to say, this is probably singularly the dumbest attack on the Biden administration and their legislative priorities I have ever heard. I mean, there's a lot worse ones and a lot meaner ones, but this is singularly the dumbest. What the fuck?
Passed by Congress. So again, it's a very radical administration on almost every single front. Whether you're talking energy,
Yeah, they're so radical, they create a piece of legislation, get it passed, and then destroy it. Huh? All right. It's stunning. It's very, very seldom am I stunned by some kind of an attack. I mean, I guess what you got to work with, if the Biden administration passes the CHIPS and Science Act, which they did, and Trump could have done it in theory because nothing changed materially between then and now, right? There was nothing, obviously, chip fabrication for military and industrial use and for safety and security and supply chains and all that stuff. That was all true before COVID, right? It became really obvious during COVID, but it didn't become less important, right? Why didn't he do it? If he'd have passed it and then they hamstrung it somehow, you'd almost have a point. But they drafted, like, it literally was Biden's fucking idea.
Whether you're talking domestic manufacturing, whether you are talking food production, whether you're talking resource management, every single thing that they do is as radically leftist as is even remotely possible.
All right. Yeah. I guess now we're just into the hyperbole part of church, where they're just like, look, if you don't know anything, just default to absolute hyperbole. Just, whatever you're saying. It's the greatest and the worst and the biggest and the tiniest and the cleanest and the dirtiest thing I have ever seen in my life and or death. Oh, God. Everything they want to do, they don't do. And then everything they don't do, they want to do until they don't want to do it anymore. And then they take what they've done and they don't do it. You understand? Look what they're doing and not doing at the same time. Oh, God.
We're talking about things today that 5 years ago, everybody would have said, that's a conspiracy theory. Of course, nobody would do something that.
That's right. Now we're like, nobody would pass a bill that they've been trying to get passed, work really hard to get it through committee, and then as soon as it passes, sign it into law, and then destroy it in an attempt to make it look like they've had no legislative successes. They try to destroy the very bills they've presented. It's 7 degrees super chess. Oh, God. The whole idea. By the way, I am right now farting and not farting at the same time, in interval. Think of it as I'm a one-woman frackathon.
That is that ridiculous. Yeah, this administration, for example, they're trying to define natural assets for private property, and then they're going to try to sell those to people like Bill Gates and the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, they're trying to say that natural resources on people's private property can be sold to China without that person's, I don't know what I'm even talking about.
Through this natural asset accounting. It's the most bizarre thing.
Natural asshole accounting. Hold on. Natural asset accounting. 1 second. Natural asset accounting, also known as natural capital accounting, integrates natural resources, economic valuation, and analysis. It provides a better understanding of development progress and its impacts on society and the environment than standard measures like GDP. NCA tracks changes in ecosystem services and directly ties these changes to costs and benefits across different economic sectors. It involves calculating the total stocks and flows of natural resources and services in a given ecosystem or region. Depletion is an important component of natural capital accounting. It seems like they're just judging the availability of stuff. The nation's economy and environment are deeply interconnected. Water, soil, air, forest, and other. Okay, now I know why she's against it, because this goes after polluters. On Earth Day 2022, President Biden directed in Executive Order 14072. 1 second. Copy. The establishment of the first government-wide natural capital accounts that would measure the economic value that natural assets provide to society and connect changes in nature with changes in economic performance. This new system of natural capital accounts will put nature on the nation's balance sheet. The NCA initiative, oh, I see. So what she's doing is it's raising the value of land simply by its existence. So if Bill Gates doesn't want to exploit some land, he can just count it as, oh, this is a nature preserve, and people can come and tourism or the benefits it has, just like trees filtering carbon out of the air can count, all that kind of shit. She doesn't want that to count. The only value that the land has is what you can dig up from it, cut down, or burn. That's what she's talking about. That's why she's mad. Account for nature on Earth Day 2022. Yeah, so let's just be abundantly clear. This is about her being pissed at the at environmental policy, period. By Jane Lubchenco, Deputy Director of Climate and the Environment, Heather Tallis, and Eli Financial. It is human nature that we often appreciate things only when they are gone, a personal loss, money spent, time we can't get back. It's also increasingly true of nature and its many benefits. We notice that the importance of bees far more when they stop coming to pollinate our crops, and farmers have to truck hives around the country to keep the food supply going. We miss the enhanced protection from flooding when barrier islands, sand dunes, or wetlands are no longer there to dampen the onslaught of powerful storms. And we appreciate the power of a forest to stabilize soil and absorb rainwater more when the forest is gone and mudslides engulf downslope communities. It doesn't have to be this way. One reason we're losing nature is that we're not paying attention, not tracking changes, and not recognizing the full value of what's at hand. Now it's time to start paying attention so we can act before it's too late. We count things, Okay. That's going to change. On Earth Day, the Biden-Harris administration announced new initiatives to better understand, account for, and find solutions in nature. In short, we are acting on the knowledge that nature provides. First, to give us a full picture of the state of nature and how it matters to our lives, we're initiating the first ever U.S. National Nature Assessment. This information will enable us to identify opportunities for nature to help achieve our social, societal, economic goals, including the America the Beautiful initiative. Spotlighting the work to restore, connect, and conserve at least 30% of lands and waters by 2030. Okay, that's why she hates it. Because she's an exploitation candidate, and she wants everybody to be able to dig under whatever the fuck they're doing, and that's the only way it shows value. So if Bill Gates wants to buy a bunch of land and keep it from producing coal because there's coal underneath it, and say, no, I'm not going to mine on this property, she wants the government to be able to use eminent domain to force mining underneath this property. That's what she's talking about. What an asshole.
But every single thing they do elevates government, increases the cost of everything, reduces our ability to produce it domestically, and then...
No, I mean, again, clearly she doesn't know what the Chips and Science Act does at all.
They turn around and say, well, we just can't figure out why we've got this employment issue. We can't figure out why
this overemployment issue?
We have this extreme inflation.
Right. And
we don't have extreme inflation compared to the rest of the world. We came out of we know why we have inflation. Fucking COVID. We're recovering from COVID. You can't solve for an equation, leave X blank just because you don't like what it stands for.
I mean, it is de-incentivizing success.
Yeah, that's what it is. It just cuts the balls off of industry because you can't even really get a boner for exploitation unless you can really, level a mountaintop. You know what I mean? If you can't do that, what am I even in the industry for?
An entrepreneur.
Efficiency? Gay. Right. That's the way they think. That's the way they think.
They want the government to be your daddy and to be beholden to them.
Well, when Trump was in office, I wanted him to be my daddy. Oh, I wanted him to roll up a Forbes magazine with his picture on it and give me a little wackadoodle. But not too hard, or it qualifies as fracking. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Okay, back up.
Sounds very familiar. Communism. Congresswoman Harriet Hagman, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
You know what? I want to thank you for having me on. And I want to say that for all the stupid shit I said, your little communism thing at the end kind of saved my ass, honestly. That's why I'm smiling. I'm smiling because you managed to make me look comparatively smart. Thank you for being such a dumbass, you skinny bitch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love this show. I love being on this. Is Greg Kelly here, by the way? They never let him. Why come they never let me visit Greg Kelly at studio? Why is that? All I want to do is come in there and sit in this chair. That's all I want to do. And every time I show up, they stand, ma'am, can you stand there? Ma'am, can you stand by the, ma'am, can you stand by the door? Ma'am, Mr. Kelly needs to go to his bus. Ma'am. Look, it's a free country. I can ride on the bus right next to him if I want to. And if my fingers get a little creepy, well, he could just take it like Trump said. Sometimes I just start kissing Greg. And I don't even stop myself. Does anybody have any Tic Tacs? Sorry. That was uncalled for. But it makes a lot of sense in the context of the show that we're doing. That I have to say, I was not expecting in that clip for Harriet Hagman to say that the execution and implementation of the Chips and Science Act was a head fake by the Biden administration. I think, right? Pretty sure. Yeah. It scared you? I'm sorry. It can be. Wyoming. That's great with a question mark. That's a great way to write it. All right. Anyways, hit the like, give a thumbs up, support the show, share it about. Hi, trolls. Hi. Okay, so let's go. I know I'm over time. Yeah, shit. It's okay. Can I do one more thing? It's not even that long. Please? 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 Can I please? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a national report on Newsmax. And Pennsylvania voters react to second assassination attempt. I don't know what that is. But Carl Higbee, who's another reporter on Newsmax, is the guest. And you can always tell when the news is like, fuck, we got nothing. When they bring on their own reporters, like, who's free? Nobody wants to hang out with Carl. Get him on here. So this is them talking to him on Monday's National Report. Carl Higbee comments on the second Trump assassination attempt. Now, this will be a sane take. Move over, Piers Morgan. Here comes Carl Higbee Sellers. Brandon!
In studio, Carl Higbee, host of Frontline here on Newsmax, retired Navy SEAL.
He's very upset.
And Carl, maybe we go back to what we just heard from some of those folks that John spoke to. It's almost kind of become an accepted thing that we now have candidates who have assassination attempts.
Yeah, I mean...
No, we don't. And it's not accepted. But how do you want us to react? I mean, it's a good question. We can be horrified for it, but that's not going to make me like his fucking policies.
That's something that we should all be worried about, is the normalization of somebody.
We're not normalizing it. It's nutty. But we're not also going to make it integral to our vote. Again, Gerald Ford was shot twice. Well, he had 2 assassination attempts. I think he was only shot once.
Taking shots at a past and potential future and current candidate. I mean, this is insane. The fact that we are sitting here today having 65 days between 2 assassination attempts. I can't imagine that we would have ever gotten here. But this is the problem. When you have...
Hold on real quick. One moment, please. Former President Donald Trump and Gerald Ford survived 2 assassination attempts. Let's see. Gerald Ford was sitting president when he survived 2 attempts in California within 3 weeks in 1975. While Sunday is assumed blah, blah, blah. The former president and Republican candidate, blah, blah, blah. On Sunday, September 15th, apprehended a suspect, blah, blah, blah. Secrets are Ralph, I don't care. There we go. Let's go back. Ford is the only former current president to have endured 2 failed assassination attempts, both of them occurring in California during his second year in office. The first attempt, September 5th, 1975, while Ford was in Sacramento, California, to meet with then-Governor Jerry Brown. When he stopped to shake hands with a crowd gathered outside his hotel, a woman attempted to shoot Ford, but misfired. She was that close. You want to talk about, like, this dude was 300 to 500 yards and the Secret Service saw him and how could this happen? But this lady walked right up, and it was only because her gun misfired that she didn't kill him. A Secret Service agent wrestled the gun away from the would-be shooter, Lynette Squeaky Fromm, a member of the infamous Manson family. On September 22nd, just a few weeks after the initial attack, Sarah Jane Moore shot at Ford while in San Francisco, but missed. A bystander grabbed her as she pulled the trigger a second time, sending the bullet in a different direction and injuring a taxi driver. Moore was arrested for attempt, which was motivated by a radical revolutionary ideology, hoping to bring about the upheaval of needed change. Sound fucking familiar? According to a report from the Congressional Research Office, the Sacramento attacker Fromm had subsequently been arrested and tried for the attempted assassination, to which Ford provided a taped deposition for the prosecution. The Charles Manson cult member received a life sentence and was paroled from prison in 2009. San Francisco shooter Moore was in prison and released in 2007. So they're both out and about. They're ladies and they're on the make. So fellas, do your worst. It's time to... She's a keeper. Go ring shopping. Both of them are on the market. So literally up close personal shots. So if we talked about this in 1974, the only thing we're talking about in 2024 is because, weird, 74, 24. The only reason we're talking about this in that respect, I believe 50 years later, is because these people have to be further away to pull off what they want. They need guns with scopes instead of handguns.
Have a Democrat Party that goes on there and, like I said earlier, calls him a Nazi, calls him a white supremacist, calls him everything under the sun. He's a threat.
And yet none of the no Democrats are shooting at him. Both of these assholes, Trump fans.
It's a democracy. What do you expect? I mean, there's if you're crazy.
I expect people to vote. I expect people to vote. That's what we expect. We want. He's a serious threat. They really do believe these things when they talk about him. I don't think he's smart enough to be a Nazi. I think he's just a bigot and a racist and a misogynist. But the solution is in the voting booth.
Crazy enough to vote Democrat after what they did to you over the last 3 years? It is.
What they do to me over the last 3 years? Get us out of a pandemic, stabilize the economy, bring it in for a soft landing, grow jobs at such a rate that the Fed was even nervous about bringing interest rates back down. Take the stock market to, 42,000?
It is no wonder that there's some crazy people out there that are willing to do this.
And again, we've seen before where people have been radicalized by different internet groups.
Also, why are you showing Mar-a-Lago? This happened at because if you show his golf course, you'll see the prison in the background and the airport, and you won't be able to hear anything.
And stuff like that.
This looks very nice. The rest of his stuff looks like shit.
You have to only blame the person who's pulling the trigger and not the media that they consumed. But the impact that it has.
I don't know about that. I mean, look, there are so many.
You're right. Why should we blame Ashley Babbitt for her demise when we can focus on the shit that Trump said that radicalized her in the first place, that got her killed?
Media outlets out there that have come after you, come after me, come after Fox or any other network that have said.
For being shitty, awful, racist, bigots, misogynists, whatever they were talking about at the particular time. Yeah. While never saying somebody needs to shoot these people because that's stupid.
Hey, these people are at fault for, Donald Trump's radical policies and stuff like that. I hope.
Oh, wait, sorry. So the right wingers that are shooting at Trump are mad want to kill Trump because, or no, Carl Higbie feels threatened because he might be to blame for these shooters thinking you baited Trump into behaving, or you think he's the one, like it's your fault for saying they're eating the dogs and this might cost him the election and now they're threatening you? Is that?
Oh, I definitely hold the media responsible for some of this stuff. When you tell somebody that they're a threat for, 10 years since he came down the golden escalator? I mean, some people are bound to believe that. They should be more responsible.
Oh, yeah? You think so, Carl? So you're ready to take, this might be a moment. Welcome back into the sunlight, Carl. You're about to take responsibility for the attack on Paul Pelosi, for example. You ready for that one? How about January 6th? You fucking moron. Right? You do know where, like, the biggest act of directed political violence happened. Yes? You're beautiful. We love you. Now go home because it didn't work. Fuck.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's
Some doubt. Little. Come on.
unacceptable. And the fact that this suspect...
They have no idea what to talk about. This is what's clear about this. Their big complaint is, oh my God, this is so normal now. We're going to pretend this doesn't matter. And neither one of them has any fucking thing to say because they don't know anything. So they're jumping to conclusions. They want to find a way to blame others for what happened instead of just the guy himself. She tries to bring it home to that. But Higbie is brought on specifically because they want to find a way to blame Democrats. And they know so little about what actually fucking happened, they can't.
Also is alive is different than what we saw in the Pennsylvania case.
Yes, he was not shot in the head and never got a shot off and may have not even been at the gun when they fired in the direction of it.
And so I'm wondering what will happen with charging and obviously justice, accountability here.
Yeah, I'm going to guess he's going to jail. Well, I mean, he's already going to be charged with possession of a gun by a felon and possession of a gun with the serial numbers scratched off of it. And, I mean, I think for just having an AK-47 in West Palm Beach, he gets, I think the sentence is a round of applause.
So we're going to wait and see what happens. It's in Florida, too, which I think is kind of interesting, right, Governor?
Yeah, it's sort of interesting.
DeSantis says he's going to look into this.
Yeah, well, the other thing, too, is like...
Yeah, do you believe that? If you believe that DeSantis, Trump's rival, is going to look into this and wasn't a part of it, you probably believe that I've actually cleaned my laptop. What the fuck? Hold on. Stretching it, making it big. Maybe make this video larger so I can show you what I'm saying, cause it's fucking nasty. This is her laptop. What is happening there? You think that's gotta be face powder? That can't just be dust. I mean, look at the oil mark where she, I don't know if she reapplies makeup and then you could tell where the oil from her finger cleans the trackpad in a circle on there. That's fucking rank. Look, it's a good idea to shut down your laptop every so often and let it reboot so that it can have its proper updates, for one. But I would, also maybe get some whoosh, that stuff that cleans the bacteria off of your keyboard. I'm just saying, because that's lady, that's fucking rank. It's gross. It's really gross. What's happening? Oh, and by the way, they don't clean the table either. Carl, I would wash up after this segment, dude. I'm just saying. I just think it's a good idea. Jesus Christ. Hold on, I gotta shrink this back down a little bit. I need one of those things where I can hit a button and it jumps in and I can focus on, where's that? All right. Another use for ChatGPT to create software. Here it comes. It's just cocaine dust. Is that what you guys think it is? They think they're just blazing rails of Adderall off the table?
The FBI has swooped in. I mean, the same FBI that raided his house. I mean, come on. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. I don't trust.
Hey, fucko. It's not his house. It's not his fucking house, Carl. It's not a house. It's not a home. He doesn't have a house. He's fucking homeless. He owns some properties, but you're not allowed to live in Mar-a-Lago. He lied on his voter registration. You can't list Mar-a-Lago as a residence, and he does it anyways. He commits voter fraud, and you guys don't fucking care. He votes in an area he doesn't fucking live. And he could. If he's this big billionaire, why the fuck doesn't he have a house? Jesus Christ, hold on. Now this is going to aggravate me. I thought this was going to be a short... Oh, shit. Let's see. West Palm Beach, real estate for sale. Hey! Da 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 da. Let's see. Okay, for sale. I don't want to put any limitations on it. Let's see. And I want a map. How do you use the map on this shit? I don't know. God damn it. Okay, price. Let's go. Sort by what? By price. Sorted homes for you. Yeah. Hold on. So here's West Palm Beach. That's a nice little place for $775,000. This kind of say 109. Look, a little condo for $195,000. That's weirdly cheap. Here's $1.9 million. Look at this, Sand Run Road, West Palm Beach, Florida. That looks like it has a pool and it's got like a little beach or some shit next to it, right? That's $1.9 million. Look at this, $39 million. Here you go. This is a billionaire fucking property. Look at that. President Donald Trump, he's got this money to, he can flippantly throw this money away. Washington Road, West Palm Beach. Look at this big fucking Coke party, kind of like, you telling me that Don Jr. and Eric wouldn't love this place? I would. Fuck me. That part's a little chintzy. Yeah, so here you go. Plenty of gaudy, weird shit in the background for you. Like oddly golden lit stairs. The kind you can just see children running up and down. It's so homey. It doesn't make the house look like it was, designed for a sequel to Scarface at all. There you go, a little flat screen TV, very rehabbed. Lots of, look at this. The theater's a little, I gotta say, it's a little, that just looks like a bedroom that they just put a fucking long couch in. I would have a much bigger TV in there, wouldn't you? That just looks like shit. And what are these these woofers on the floor? Jesus Christ. I don't know. And then look at the bedroom, and there's like a little fence. Maybe that's the property fence. Maybe there's a thing over there. Yeah, show me the stairs again. And then the weird, where you can run your real estate office, or you and your significant other can act out your favorite sex scenes from Suits. There you go. You got a scene of the water, and then you can see the poor people over there, and you can laugh at them from your own bedroom, and they can stare at you while you forget that you have giant windows and think they only go one direction. And then here's your big Mork from Mork bathtub, right? So you can sit in there and go, nanu, nanu. Yeah. Big couch, big walk-in closet. That I like, I gotta say. Yeah. There's never enough closet space, and then things fill up, and what are you gonna do? Oh, see in the toilet, it's a levitating toilet. Look at that. But this house is $39 million, 7 bedrooms, 10 baths, 8,000 square foot. You can request a tour. You don't think that Donald Trump couldn't just afford this one? Let's see. How do you fuck? There's got to be a map version of this, right? How does this shit work? Homes with 3 others. Let's just go homes with 3 plus. Okay. 39 million. Okay. These are the big 3. Here's another one. Why, with Mar-a-Lago, since you can't have it as a residence, why didn't he just buy one of these fucking things? Why didn't he just spend all of his time at Mar-a-Lago and then... Wait a minute. I'm starting to think he's not rich at all. What the hell? This sounds like bullshit. Okay. And by the way, where is it? Oh, here's the map part of it. Here's the map. Look at that. Is that Mar-a-Lago right there? Look, he could see it from there. Fabulous. Look at this. Oh, yeah, blow this map up. Look at that business. Where is it? Okay. Oh, it's even further north. It's actually in the good area. See, his dump's way down here. Where is it? There it is. His is up there, and he could still be within a 9-minute cab ride of Jeffrey Epstein's old pad for memories.
These people. I think Governor DeSantis should take over this investigation and make sure.
Why would you want that if you know that they were rivals and Trump shit on him a bunch? And I mean, maybe he knew something and he didn't say.
That it actually gets done right. Find out everything about this guy, because look, we know about his social media that was taken down, but what we don't know about is bank accounts. What we don't know about is where.
Yeah, but we will. You think they're not going to look?
Where he spent his time, why?
He spent his time in North Carolina and allegedly Hawaii, and then he took a trip, God knows who fucking paid for it, to Ukraine to talk about bringing Afghan and Syrian fighters to join the war there, and he got kicked out of the fucking country for being nuts.
Why he did the things he did, we have no idea about that. And
dude, it just happened.
To be honest, after the FBI flubbed the Hunter Biden laptop, they investigated Russia collusion.
There is no Hunter Biden laptop.
For 5 years and found nothing. I don't trust them on that.
Oh, they found something. You don't believe me? Then why did he have to pardon Paul Manafort?
Sorry, there are good men and women in the FBI, but it's the leadership that I don't trust.
Kilmeny mentioned it in her reporting. The president was asked about this latest assassination attempt. I believe we've got it on tape. If we do, we'll play it now and get your thoughts.
Thank God the president's okay. I think we got a full report so far. We're down there tonight. But one thing I want to make clear is service needs more help. And I think the Congress should respond to their needs if they, in fact, need more services.
So words, are we going to see action on this?
Yeah, I mean.
Well, that would be up to Congress. That's the point, is that there's a budget ahead of them. If they need to add more money to the Secret Service, that's when they would do it. But they're trying to put this poison pill up and shut down the government before the election. Again, if the Republicans shut down the government before the fall election, do you think voters will reward them for this? You think they'll look at the stack of shit coming out of Trump and his nonsense eating the dogs and the Roe v. Wade and the blah, 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 and you think they go, well, at least he still shut down the government over a pissing contest because they want to put a poison pill in it that won't pass the Senate anyways. Do you think the voters are going to go, yeah, let's keep these assholes in charge?
I mean, look, where was this Biden for the last 3.5 years? He puts on a MAGA hat last week, and all of a sudden now he's saying, yeah, we need more resources. Like, okay, better late than never, I guess. But at the same time.
They have everything they need. The Secret Service has everything they need. Trump handpicks his own group, and he wants sycophants, not professionals. And it's the reason he took Walt Nada out of the Oval and brought him back to Mar-a-Lago. He's looking for a bunch of people that will be like Kim Jong-un's personal guard.
Is like, he just seems, now that he's not, going to be president, and they basically kicked him to the curb and he's spending 50% of his time on the beach, like, he's actually coming up with some stuff that's like, okay, probably should have done that 4 years ago, but we'll take it.
Right.
No, not right, stupid. They've never denied Trump what he needed. The Trump group, part of the reason why the Secret Service was denied some help in some areas is because Trump wants them to drop everything and do these kind of seat of the pants things where they don't get to clear stuff. And they're like, no, we're not going to, we don't have the resources to clear like 9 places he might want to do a rally and he hasn't made up his fucking mind, and extend those things out. Pick a fucking place. We'll vet it, and you can go there. But stop picking 9 places like, well, maybe we'll do this place, maybe we won't. He likes to make up his mind the day before. Well, tough shit then. He's got to participate in his own security.
Right. And not to mention RFK Jr. and how long...
I told you not to mention RFK Jr.
He went without any sort of protection. Perhaps it's too bad that the assassination on a former president had to inspire additional resources allocated to that. I just wanted to ask you...
Also, one of the big slams, I think it was from Glenn Beck, and I saved you guys from the clip of Glenn Beck tonight. I was going to do it, but I was outvoted by people going, Hal, if you want this to continue to be the greatest live stream ever, you got to go easy on the amount of Glenn Beck. And I completely agree. So I did. But his argument is that it was so stupid. I've forgotten part of it. But essentially, it was that they cut off RFK Jr.'s Secret Service protection recently. And are they trying to get him killed as well? He stopped being a candidate. I don't understand. Like, who Secret Service is supposed to watch anybody who was a candidate now? Is that how it works? What do you mean? Should all the Kennedys get it just because they're fucking famous? Is the Secret Service now going to protect Taylor Swift? By the way, I wouldn't doubt that they kind of are. I know that the FBI has a special group that watches out for like super celebrities, especially if they've been targeted by people like Trump. But good Lord.
About media coverage, because you watch it all the time, and I find it so
beats doing anything with your life.
Fascinating. If we recall back in July, CNN was, and it's developing, right? It's breaking news, so you have to show a little bit of grace there. But Trump falls.
Yes, grace is what we want. Grace is what we're shooting for. Grace. That's what we're doing in Jesus' name.
To the ground, right? When their coverage of the assassination. I'm just looking today, and again, you update headlines as it goes through, but when it was first reported, there was a gunfight near a golf club that was reported, golf club incident. I mean, it was just so vague.
Well, but there was...
It wasn't vague. Everybody was scrambling to get details. The guy never returned fire. They said it was in the vicinity. They hadn't talked and cleared what they were going to say about what happened until they caught the guy. They didn't want the guy to know they were after him, more than likely. So for 45 minutes, they're kind of keeping it on the DL. And so the guy doesn't, I guess you slow his bug out if he doesn't really think there's somebody coming for him, right? And it may have worked. That may have been why they did it.
Also a rush. I mean, nobody had any facts at this point except for the people who were...
Right, and everybody tried. She's like, are they being too tepid? No, I think they're rushing the details. It's media. Everybody wants to get the scoop. That's all this is. No, you know what? Fuck me. It's a conspiracy.
Right there. But the fact that a major network would come out and say, no, it was a gunfight amongst 2 other people adjacent to the golf course. They had no idea.
It was very confusing.
But they just said it anyway.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have no idea. They just said it anyways. That was the reports they were getting from the local police until it updated. And by the way, it might have been the spin the police department and the Secret Service were giving until they found the dude.
Yeah. And clearly, what we've known now is that this wasn't just a gunfight. This is someone who indeed
wasn't a gunfight at all, dummy. A gunfight is two people shooting.
wanted to target the former president of the United States.
Oh, no, you don't. No. Guy's still alive, still got time to talk, and that very well may be the case, but he hasn't said anything yet, and he could have just said, nope, I was there because I thought Witkoff was going to give him bad info, and I wanted to get that guy. I wasn't trying to shoot President Trump. I thought people around him were giving him bad advice, so I can't, right? He could very well say that. We don't know. Shut the fuck up. You can't end a segment on why did they run with information that turned out not to be the case afterwards and then make your own conclusions like this. You can, and there's nothing wrong with saying most likely or it's probable that, right? Nobody's going to have a problem with that. It's the, obviously he was there to kill the president. In all honesty, it's very possible that he could have just been there because he believed the Secret Service wasn't doing their job and he was protecting the president's life. We don't know.
United States, who was just out golfing on Sunday.
He was just out golfing at his shithole golf course next to a prison, cemetery, a park, and an airport.
All great stuff. Anything else we can focus on?
Not really. No. We didn't really have much to talk about. Can you imagine being in a 5-minute and 31 second segment on an assassination attempt on the president? The former president, and the presidential candidate, that this network is committed to getting reelected. You have a 5-minute, 31-second segment on it, and you can't fill the time. Think about that for a second. Think about what an asshole you have to be. How, useless you would have to be as both a guest and anchor. Because I got to tell you, you guys know. You've seen me on shows. Do I need any help talking? Do I need any help filling 5 minutes and 31 seconds? Most of the time, I pride myself on the fact that if I'm brought on to local news or a show like this, that if it's my gift to the host, if they can't get a word in edgewise, they talk in cycles all day long. It can be exhausting. You bring me on, fucking sit back, crack your knuckles, and let me go. I wind my own key before I come out there, right? The filters help. You think so? Oh, I love Carl Higby. They won't let me do this on Newsmax. I don't know why. Because I can see you, Carl. I'm in your bushes. I love you, Carl Higby, and your big, strong arms. Why don't you come down and visit me in Wyoming? Okay? Let's do it.
For tonight?
Yeah, we're going to break this down. We're finding out more and more. Also, a shocking development over his association that is potentially with the other shooter.
Really? Okay. Carl Higby.
Really? Okay. Yeah, they might have been friendly. You mean the fact that they're both registered Republicans? One of them, yeah. One guy voted for Trump and the other guy wanted to.
Frontline, right here on Newsmax at 5 p.m.
Killing it. Just, I could see if, hey, if this is a sample of the quick wit, the charm, the keen understanding of details we're going to get from Carl Higby Frontline, then I am going to tune in, let me tell you. As a matter of fact, fuck, I just missed it. No, I didn't. I missed it 3 hours ago, at 2 o'clock my time. Shit! Why in the world? Stupid websites. Make me mad.
p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned for that.
Fabulous. Chat room, you guys are wonderful. Tomorrow, no show. I apologize. I will be on the road because I have the jam tomorrow night. The theme is the 27 Club, so we are celebrating the music of people that passed away when they were 27. The rock bands and singers and members of bands that all died at the age of 27. And there's a lot of them. We're also, I'm sneaking in a birthday song. I made Chuck let me pick a song for my birthday that I'm allowed to do. So I threw it in there, and hopefully I'll be able to post it after the fact. So if something happens, I'll jump on and do little shorts and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, we'll just ride it through. And I will see you on Wednesday. I'm going to drive in tomorrow, do my show, turn right around and drive back. So I will be exhausted on Wednesday morning, and yet still charming and fantastic, because this is Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. And let me remind you, if I may, for some of you that think, hold on, let's see if I can find this. If some of you think that we've lost the kidney, and that that is not the case. And importantly,
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
I see. I agree. But I think the most important thing, if I may, and I know this is a bit off topic, but can I just say that my birthday is next week, and I share a birthday with this guy, Mark Hamill. And you're like, Hal, that's not Mark Hamill. That's a young Martin Short in a karate gi. And you're kind of right. It does look more like a young Mark Hamill in a karate gi. But I tell you, it is indeed Luke. And so I would like to remind everybody and wish an early happy birthday to Mark Hamill and myself, and Barbara Walters, rest her soul, and Christopher Reeve, rest his soul. I mean, I'm just saying, it's kind of a special day, and there's some special people that were made on that day, or released, I suppose, for public consumption. What? That's not the important part. The important part is, always remember. Yeah, Twitch folks, fire up those emotes. Bounce them all over the screen. Let's see what you got. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Hearts and mics and something else and Sparks. You can do it.